Nestled on England's northwestern seaboard, where the River Mersey embraces the Irish Sea, Liverpool stood as a titan of global influence in the early 19th century. This thriving port, home to 78,000 souls, amassed immense wealth from its trade in cotton, tobacco, and sugar. This prosperity fueled the creation of stately Georgian residences, sophisticated public squares, and esteemed cultural establishments. Yet, for the majority of its inhabitants, life meant contending with overcrowded, unsanitary districts, perpetually thick with the stench of horse dung and industrial fumes. Today, cutting-edge artificial intelligence technology empowers us to resurrect these vanished streetscapes, transforming age-old engravings and paintings into vividly lifelike digital reconstructions. Accompany me as we journey into the Liverpool of our forebears. The Liverpool Town Hall served as the very epicenter of civic life. A brilliant emblem of the city's vast affluence, the town hall had risen from ashes, meticulously reconstructed after a catastrophic fire in 1795. Largely the vision of John Wood the Elder, its inauguration proclaimed Liverpool's status as a preeminent global force. During this epoch, it was the nexus of all governmental and social authority. While the municipal council convened on the lower floors, the opulent ballrooms above played host to the influential merchants and dignitaries who steered the city's commercial ventures. Cast your gaze upward. Crowning the dome is a statuette of Minerva, the Roman deity of warfare and intellect, who also presided over trade and the arts, a fitting protector for such a prosperous harbor. Presently, the council chamber continues to house local governance, and the Lord Mayor utilizes it as their official headquarters for ceremonial duties. Its resplendent Georgian chambers now welcome public tours, host matrimonial celebrations, and accommodate official state functions. For generations, returning mariners recognized their imminent arrival in Liverpool by the sight of this majestic spire piercing the skyline above the Mersey. St. Nicholas's Church, affectionately known as the Sailors' Church, had stood sentinel over the waterfront since medieval times. The elegant steeple you observe was added in 1746, deliberately designed as a navigational beacon for vessels entering the harbor. At high tide, the river's currents would wash right up to the churchyard's perimeter. This detailed engraving depicts Liverpool in 1808, a mere 2 years before calamity struck. On a Sunday morning in February 1810, as church bells chimed and congregations gathered for worship, the spire unexpectedly crumbled into the main body of the church below, tragically claiming the lives of 25 individuals, predominantly youngsters from the local charitable school. This devastating event sent shockwaves through the city, yet Liverpool, as it always did, rallied and rebuilt. St. John's Market, inaugurated in 1822, was the vibrant hub of daily commerce for Liverpudlians. Erected on the former site of St. John's Churchyard, this edifice of iron columns brought order to the city's previously chaotic open-air bazaars, providing shelter and ostensibly improved sanitary conditions for hundreds of vendors offering an array of provisions, meats, fish, produce, and household necessities. The cast-iron framework represented pioneering Victorian engineering, creating an expansive, unobstructed interior where the populace of Liverpool convened each day. Here, affluent housekeepers mingled with working-class families, painstakingly assembling pennies for their evening meals, all navigating the cacophony, olfactory assaults, and energetic press of Victorian market life. The ground underfoot was perpetually sodden with crushed vegetables and spilled liquids. The air hung heavy with the pungent aroma of fish and unwashed bodies, while opportunistic pickpockets expertly navigated the throngs. Nevertheless, St. John's Market was an indispensable institution, the vital provisioning center for a city exceeding 100,000 inhabitants before the advent of modern supermarkets. The original structure was razed in 1964, supplanted by a retail complex, which itself was later demolished in 2016. This unassuming edifice symbolized a revolutionary spirit of benevolence. Established by Edward Rushton, a blind poet and staunch abolitionist who had tragically lost his vision while ministering to enslaved Africans aboard a vessel, the School for the Indigent Blind became Britain's pioneering institution dedicated to visually impaired children. Within these purpose-built premises, which commenced operations in 1800, blind students acquired vocational skills such as basket weaving, brush manufacturing, and musical proficiency, equipping them with the means for self-sufficiency rather than consigning them to a life of mendicancy. The adjoining windmill was one of 74 such structures that dotted the cityscape from medieval times through the industrial era. Rushton's vision was elegantly straightforward, yet profoundly transformative. Blind children were entitled to education and inherent dignity, not mere commiseration. The school's rigorous regimen, commencing with a 6:30 a.m. awakening and concluding with a 9:30 p.m. bedtime, focused on the acquisition of trades through tactile learning, fundamentally altering students' life trajectories. When Lime Street Station underwent its expansion in the 1850s, the original building was demolished, but Rushton's enduring legacy persists in what is now the Royal School for the Blind, which continues its operations to this day. St. Anne's Church offered a tranquil sanctuary within Liverpool's rapidly proliferating urban landscape. Constructed to serve the burgeoning populace, religious institutions like this provided not only spiritual guidance, but also crucial social services, including the meticulous recording of births, marriages, and deaths, the operation of charitable educational facilities, and the provision of aid to the impoverished. The churchyard would have been densely populated with gravestones as urban burial grounds struggled to accommodate the relentless influx of Liverpool's expanding population. The rapid industrialization of Liverpool was beginning to place considerable strain on these traditional ecclesiastical structures. The very coal that fueled the city's economic ascendancy imparted a subtle dark hue to the church's stonework. One can readily discern decades of accumulated soot on its venerable walls. Within a few generations, numerous Liverpool churches dating from the 18th century would face demolition or significant reconstruction as the city pursued its unyielding expansion, making way for warehouses, railway infrastructure, and the burgeoning apparatus of Victorian commerce. The Lyceum represented Liverpool's intellectual heart, a sanctuary where merchants, having amassed fortunes through trade, could cultivate themselves into scholars and gentlemen. Erected in 1802 to house England's inaugural subscription library, established in 1758 by a small literary society, the building provided an escape from the boisterous coffee houses where business was conducted amidst clouds of tobacco smoke and animated negotiations. Within its magnificent, domed circular library, upwards of 10,000 volumes graced the walls beneath a soaring cupola, while the newsroom offered access to periodicals from London, Ireland, and various provincial regions. For an annual membership fee, patrons could savor coffee in elegant surroundings and engage in philosophical discourse beneath sculpted busts of literary giants like Shakespeare, Milton, and Homer. It was Liverpool's deliberate assertion of its intellectual aspirations, a testament to its capacity for commercial success to coexist harmoniously with refined intellectual pursuits. Today, the Grade II listed edifice endures on Bold Street, repurposed for a multiplicity of uses, currently housing a miniature golf and bar establishment, having narrowly evaded demolition in the 1970s thanks to a fervent public campaign to preserve this architectural gem. In 1825, Gallows Mills, situated on London Road, marked the outer limits of Liverpool, the point where the urban sprawl yielded to the countryside. These windmills, diligently grinding grain to sustain Liverpool's burgeoning population, bore a somber designation. In close proximity stood the execution site, where public hangings took place, including the notorious hanging of 4 Scottish rebels in 1715. The scene depicted here, with cattle grazing placidly, windmills gently revolving in the breeze, unpaved tracks winding through the landscape, and scattered cottages, represents Liverpool's final moments of rural tranquility before the relentless tide of urbanization engulfed it. Within mere decades, this pastoral vista would vanish, submerged beneath a network of streets, dwellings, and industrial complexes as Liverpool's population surged dramatically. The windmills themselves would not endure. The majority of Liverpool's 74 windmills were dismantled by the late 19th century, rendered obsolete by the ascendance of steam power and railways. Presently, London Road is a bustling urban artery, and nothing remains of Gallows Mills save for historical imagery such as this. Lime Street Station, which opened in 1836, ushered in the railway age to Liverpool's doorstep. This imposing neoclassical structure served as the city's central terminus for the Liverpool and Manchester Railway, the world's pioneering intercity passenger route. The railway had proven phenomenally successful, transporting hundreds of thousands of passengers annually and drastically reducing journey times between Liverpool and Manchester from 4 hours by coach to a mere 90 minutes by train. This building symbolized more than just a transportation hub. It was a bold declaration that Liverpool, already a master of the seas, would spearhead Britain's transition into the railway era. The original structure was demolished in 1849 and replaced by an expanded station. However, this initial Lime Street marked the pivotal moment when steam and iron commenced their dominion over distance, irrevocably transforming the movement of people and goods across Britain and the globe. This has offered but a fleeting glimpse into Liverpool during the early 1800s. There is a wealth of further exploration. Therefore, if you have relished this historical excursion, please consider subscribing to ensure you do not miss our subsequent temporal journeys. Thank you for your viewership, and we look forward to seeing you in the past.